Let's talk about why most reps fail and how to succeed. And I can break it down into a few different scenarios, a few different key factors. Number one, I would say training, hands down. We live in a world of instant gratification. People come on, they want a result. They're willing to train a little bit and bam, that's it. They want to go. You're going to find very, very seldom does someone really successful not take training seriously. And especially when you get to a level where you've kind of surpassed the beginning stages. Once you get to a point where you know what you're doing, I would say that's the time to like kick it into high gear and train even more. You would maybe even consider yourself successful. That's the time to kick it into high gear. That's to continue training. You're going to find very rarely is someone incredibly successful that's not constantly trying to better themselves. It's constantly a student. I mean, the second you think you know everything is the second you've reached your ceiling. Number two, when it comes to sales in general, is handling rejection. Let's be honest, it's a weird thing. If you've lived your whole life and life's been normal and all of a sudden you're in an industry where someone says, hey, listen, I need you to ask 100 times and 99 times you're gonna get no. It's tough on the psyche, but get used to it. What happens is you build up a tolerance for it, and eventually, when you become like at a ninja level when it comes to sales, I can say that not only do you welcome no's, you get excited for them. Matter of fact, I'm skeptical if I don't hear a no. I feel weird. If something's too easy, I don't trust it. There's an old thing we used to do in the car business, and every once in a while, someone would come in the door and say, who wants to sell a car? And the people that were experienced would be like, you'd see them shoo away. There was a catch to it. It's just not that easy. You need to embrace the no. I fish for it. I want it. I was referenced like a little shadow on my shoulder. Sometimes he's a little bit bigger. Sometimes he's a little bit smaller. That's our level of fear. That's our fear of rejection. It's always present. You can't get away from it. But I think with every single no you go through, it gets a little bit smaller. You start maintaining a little bit more control over that. That's something you got to fight through. There's no training that can take you there. It's repetition. It's getting beaten down and getting back up over and over. You never know how powerful it is until you overcome something. If you've gone an entire month and you've had a dreadful month and you've tried and you've been consistent, you've done all the steps and you've heard no over and over and over, and at the very end you land a deal, or you're in a different industry and you get the deal at the end of the night, tasting that, feeling that, experiencing that changes the way you pursue things in the future. Once you've identified that, you build a certain level of patience that comes along with it too. You know, when guys come on this industry and they're new, they're looking at what kind of money they're making day one, day two, day three. Eventually they're thinking weeks, eventually months, quarters, and eventually years. I need people to get to that point. My goal is to get someone not to worry about the week or the month or the day, that they're following a process, a routine, they're staying consistent, and what that's going to do is put them in a position where they're just looking back at the year. How did the year go? Which leads me to my next one, which is consistency. This one's probably one of the most difficult ones to train people on. It's easy to sprint. I can get a lot of people that are extremely motivated to come in here and be really excited to sprint for a day, a week, a month, 90 days, I don't know. But it's really hard to keep going. It's a marathon. To find that level of consistency, to continue to show up day after day. It's an art. And one of the other things when it comes to that, we call it hero to zero. You're gonna have an amazing month and then all of a sudden you fall apart the next month. And we try to like combat that a little bit here. I don't need someone to go out and do 15 deals one month and 3 the next. I'll just have them do 9 each month. So that's what we really try to embrace. Not getting too high, not getting too low, staying consistent. That's kind of the name of the game. Number 4 is you pick the wrong company. At the end of the day, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and you find yourself in a situation where you're doing everything you can, but you don't know what you don't know. So if your leadership isn't there, if your mentors aren't there, if your leaders aren't there, then how far can you really get? Unless you're coming in as an expert, and if you're an expert, you probably didn't choose that company to begin with. So if you find yourself in a situation, you're looking around, you don't see people in the room, the people you surround yourself that you want to be like, that you want the things they have, you want to approach life the way they're doing it, then I would say that's a good time to look in the mirror and figure out where you're allocating your time. I mean, you don't get too many shots at this. So I could tell you, if you're with the wrong company, you just spent the last 4 years trying to chase something, that's a big waste of time, and it's one thing you're not going to get back. So be very selective about where you spend your time. One thing we try to do here at Hailco is we're incredibly selective about who we bring on. We protect the group. And I tell the guys this all the time. We have a group that we meet here every single day. We're constantly role playing. We're going over recordings. We're just constantly driving each other forward, getting better as a team, teaming up, and we protect it. If there's anything that comes in that's toxic, if people come in, they don't have the right vibe for our crew, they're gone. It doesn't make sense for us. We don't hire. There's a ton of companies, especially in direct sales. I don't care if it's solar, pest controller, you're out there, it's liner closer, you're canvassing, they're gonna hire a ton. They're gonna hire whatever, throw it against a wall, see what sticks, feed you to the wolves. We don't do that. We don't have the bandwidth for it. So we kind of operate a little bit differently here. I think we put a ton into the training, into the onboarding. So when we do bring someone on, we want to make sure we're giving them all the tools to be successful. A lot of companies don't do that. So if you're watching this right now, I would encourage you to do this. Ask yourself, is the company you're working for right now, or the people you're surrounding yourself with, are those the people you want to be around? Are they going to drive you forward? Are they going to take you to the next level? Do you see a future there when you look 24, 36, 48 months down the road? And if you don't, that'd probably be a good time to do a little self-reflection, a self-review, review on where you're going with your life. We all have different methods for that. I would definitely take a look in the mirror when it comes to that. And one thing we try to do here, we try to have a culture that's fun here. So we do a lot of like company trips and events and company outings. And it's just because we like it. And we're going to spend time here. We're here every day. We're going to make it fun. There's nothing better than a sales force that's got each other's back, where everyone's making money and everyone's having a good time and everyone sees a future in it. It's not perfect. It's a human business. I'm not saying we're perfect, but we do everything we can to support our crew. Let's recap real quick. How do you succeed in roofing sales? How do you make sure that you're in the top 10%? I don't care what industry you're in, but let's just, for the sake of this, in roofing sales, how do you find yourself in the top 10%? A, like I said before, you got to show up. You got to have your why figured out. You got to know why you're getting up every day. There's an old term that says, how do you motivate people you hire? And it says, hire motivated people. Some people are naturally more motivated than others. I would say some are kind of misguided, that need a little bit of guidance. I wasn't a believer of that for a long time, but then I kind of saw it happen before my eyes and I was like, okay, people just don't have direction sometimes. So I would say, if we recap, you have to be willing to put in the time and the effort. You have to be willing to train and continue training. And when it comes to rejection, for me to say, hey, learn how to handle rejection, the best way to do that, go out there and get rejected over and over and over. And then when you're actually done and you can't handle it anymore, go do it again. Rinse and repeat. Before long, those rejections are going to hold less merit. When you overcome those rejections and when you have success, now you've tasted it, it doesn't mean as much anymore. When you get rejection, eventually you get excited about it. And then consistency. That's one thing that we try to do here when it comes to consistency, is you're able to team up. You have a team that kind of backs you. We're on a group thread every day, all day. People meeting at the gyms in the morning. I mean, we're all about kind of like healthy spirit, healthy body, healthy mind going into this. That's one of the big ones. And then I would say the last reason is find the right company. And that's a big one. I don't care if it's this company. I don't care where you're at in life. I don't care what city, state, part of the world you're in. Take a look at the higher ups. Take a look at your leadership, your mentors. Are you surrounding yourself with the right people? And if you're not, then it's time to bounce. It's time to get out of there. Take all the information you can and get out. Move on and do it now. At the end of the day, the best reps, they don't wait around for opportunities. They create them. They'll go out and find it at any cost. So that's what I love about this business, right? It's direct sales. You got to go out and figure it out. You're not waiting here for Google leads. So if you're looking here, if you're thinking, hey, do they provide leads, appointments? Not really. Go figure it out. There's thousands and thousands of roofs within this area, just right here, that you can go literally get. Figure it out. I don't care where you're at in life or what you're doing. If you promise that you're going to show up for something, show up. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Otherwise, please, for the love of God, don't say it. But if you say you're going to do something, you actually show up and you actually do it, you'll be in the top 5% of all people. I don't know what it is, but people just have a really difficult time showing up. Most people fail in roofing sales, not because they lack potential. They don't have the right mindset. They don't have the right training. They don't have the right guidance. They don't have the right team, the right culture, the people to support them. Because guess what? This is a hard industry. You're going to fall. Nothing's going to be perfect. And guess what? Nothing good ever comes easy. You could be selling here for the next 5 years. I guarantee if I ask you about your best experience, your best closes, you're not going to tell me about the easy ones. You're going to tell me about the difficult ones. Those are the ones that are interesting to hear about. Here's something I tell to a lot of our reps right now. It's easy to set goals and it's easy to fall behind on those goals. So a lot of times I don't set them as kind of results driven. I set them, they're process driven. I want to know what you can change, what you can do, what's in your control. So I have a lot of reps that'll tell me, hey, I want to make $200,000 this year. And here we are in March. We're stepping into what? Our third month. Are they on pace? Are they there? But I think the real question is, what version of yourself is a $200,000 a year salesperson? What's it take to make, with no college experience, to come out here at 20 years old and make 200 grand a year? That's $16,666 a month. How are you going to go out and make $16,000+ a month? What does that person look like? What's his day look like? You flash forward a year, he makes $200,000. What does he look like? He wakes up in the morning. Is he clean cut? Does he have everything together? Is he meal prepping? How's his family life, relationship? Is he goal driven? Is he organized? Is that the person you are right now? If not, you have to make adjustments. So I want you to paint me a picture of what that person looks like a year from now. And let's find out how to get them here today. You're sitting at home and you're watching this right now and you're like, I can join this team. I can do this. I can be part of this. I think I have what it takes. Then click the link below.